Isaiah 4:1 is basically here. First and foremost, giving all praise, glory, and honor that's due to Yahawah, Yahawashi, BAHASHAM, with Dash double honors to the elders and apostles at Greatmillstone who rule well. Peace and blessing to the 144,000 and the hopeful elect. Shalom Barakatham. And this is just the response to the video I see going around with the brothers about these podcast YouTube channels. Essentially, they're able to put together entire compilations of women crying out, complaining. You know, first it's starting with the lack of men approaching, then it's the lack of men, wanting to stick around, and even before that, it's the lack of men wanting to commit. You go for the guy that's the tallest and the most handsome or has the most edge, tattoos or whatever, and what women don't understand is that they're picking the most popular guys. The most popular guys are going to have the least interest in you because every other woman wants them, And now you're getting old. You're ready to retire at 30. All right, and you see these prices going up, and the job market is crashing. And so now, like Kevin Samuel said, winter is coming. And that's very, very true. But it's going to get much, much worse than loneliness. Is what women don't get. When the scriptures speak about Isaiah 4:1, it says women will be in a case. As a matter of fact, I'll get it while I'm stuck in traffic here. Let's see. Isaiah 4. All right. It says, and in that day 7 women should take hold to one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. So that is basically saying women are going to have a more humble spirit. And this is what you see in this compilation. I don't think I can post it on before here because YouTube won't let you download straight to the phone. But what you see is the humility is starting to set in. All right, this is similar to what we saw back in 2020 when there was no food or no toilet paper on the shelves. Women were looking around. When as a guy, when you walking around, man, women, what you'll notice, most women, if they don't find you attractive, they'll do their best to not look at you, not make eye contact, and just kind of go their way. But men that they are interested in, they're looking at you, or they'll find their way walking in front of you, or they're on your aisle. You move 2-3 aisles over, she there too. I've had that happen. So women know how to do this and put themselves in position because they never really, shoot their shot. And what we saw back in 2020, women, almost every woman was trying to make eye contact, because it was a fear in their eyes. They were scared. And what people don't understand at large, especially these red pill guys, is that the Lord is getting ready to humble America in its entirety, including the red pill guys. Okay, a lot of you that think that you got game, or you got wealth, you got money, you understand women. Look, understanding women is a useless skill. Okay, it's a useless skill because there should just be order. All right, getting women should be a matter of integrity and having merit among men, okay? Because your father will be the one to give her away, okay? Let's say you work with some men and you like her sister, okay? Well, you would have a reputation with that man. That man could talk to his father, and then they'll try you out, and then based on your merit, your integrity, things you can actually do in the world, you would get a woman. Not based on walking up to a random woman and she like, oh, I don't like guys with green eyes. Or I don't like men that would, I don't like scraggly beards, or whatever's in their mind. Because a woman will watch a television show, or she'll read a book or a novel, and she'll think the men out in the real world should be like that. She'll actually expect that from you. And you've gone decades and decades now. Wonton goes into just careless, nonchalant, outside with booty shorts on. She'll have a man at home, she'll be outside with booty shorts on, twerking in front of other men. She'll be out in the club letting other men buy her drinks and all, and they don't think anything's wrong with it because women have an abundance mindset, and that's because Esau set that up. This goes back to the garden in Genesis the 3rd chapter, or maybe the 2nd chapter, where the serpent tells Eve, you know, you shall not surely die. And that was the philosophies given to, you know, her back then, you know, basically saying that's basically the foundation of the do as thou wilt philosophy, you know, hedonism. Okay, live in the moment, carpe diem, you know, and that's the MO that women live by, essentially. And if you don't have boundaries and rail guards and structure set in place, women will go all over the place doing things, and they're not going to take any responsibility for it. Okay, they're not going to take responsibility for the fact that half the population has herpes, and that's just one STD. You know, that doesn't even account all that other stuff flying around. You got flesh-eating bacteria, you know, running around as an STD now, man. You know, how did that happen? Because there's a natural consequences to whoredom. You know, this goes for men too. Men that are adulterers. Yeah, a man can have more than one woman, but he's not running through a bunch of women, you know, at large, and then that woman's going through a bunch of men. That's how it spreads. Not the man having more than one woman. It's the woman going with multiple men who also get a bunch of women. Okay, it's like a multiplier effect. You know, that's how you get all of these pestilences and these diseases coming about, and there's going to be no accountability for it. So what is the Lord going to have to do? Humble you. All right. And it's going to get much worse than that. A lot of you single mothers that are proud as hell, you demand a man take you on a date. I'm not taking you on no date. Okay, dating is over with. Dating is for virgins. Okay, you want to be courted. Courting is for virgins. Okay, some women that at least practice some form of sexual discipline. But y'all think y'all can fuck the whole roster, all right? Get trains ran on you in college and all this other nonsense, and then you gonna put on a long skirt, you know, at 29, right before you hit 30, and think you gonna scoop up a high value man. It don't work like that. Okay, you might have got a few suckers, but those behaviors, you can't take the hoe out of a woman, man. Okay, you can't make a hoe into a housewife, as they say. The true colors always comes out. Okay, and this is why women are constantly divorcing men, because they don't really love those men. You know, and the reason they don't love those men is because they had men back in their past that they think that they can still get. They still feel entitled to. But you were never entitled to that man. That man just wanted to sleep with you. Okay, and now you want everybody else to clean up the mess. Well, the Lord is going to clean it up. Okay, and you're not going to like his solution for the cleanup, because the Lord is sick of this, man. And a lot of this is being enabled by weak men. Really, all of it's being enabled by weak men. Really, it goes back to Esau, Edom, the ruler of this society. All right, the so-called white man who passed all of these policies, who did women's liberation. All right, had the CIA, you know, basically quarterback this whole thing. All right, they put it all in magazines. You don't need a man. 10 ways, 10 things to lose a man. You know, 10 things to keep a man, and it'll all be backwards. It'll be the worst advice you can take. All right, and then he infiltrated all of the colleges to the point where you send your daughter off to college. All right, she comes back, she's done unspeakable. You don't even want to think about what your daughter's did, man. You know, she's done unspeakable things there, man. You know, and they feel empowered and emboldened by it. You know, which they shouldn't. A righteous woman would feel shame over doing things like that, you know. But in this society, what do you have? Upside down world. All right, and when the Lord turns things back on its head, in its rightful way, it's going to be painful for a lot of you, man. A lot of men in Jacob's trouble, you're going to find out who your wife really is. Okay, that she's really not a wife, because they really aren't. You know, wives are servants. That's what you're supposed to be. You're supposed to support a household. And open dating in its entirety is a suboptimal form of reproduction. Okay, and it is not how you marry people off and reproduce enough kids. Marriages should be arranged by men of understanding, as the scriptures say. Give your daughter to a man of understanding. But now they're picking and choosing whoever they want, and they almost always go for the guy that looks like he's got some edge, or he's a bad boy. But those men don't have integrity, most of them. Okay, a man's supposed to have that edge of the bad boy, but he's supposed to have integrity. Okay, he's supposed to do what he says he's going to do. All right, he'll be capable of violence and things of that nature that gives you that sexual arousal, but he's got no commitment. He's got no sense of urgency about doing things. He's just living his life, man. And guys like that, they end up either dead, in jail, or broke, you know, because you're supposed to work with long-term goals in mind. But these guys, they just go around just doing it, and it's to the point so many women have been ran through now. It's like now even the good guys can't even you can't even wipe a woman up now, man. You know, all of the guys that didn't have money in their 20s and they had to grind and got in their 30s and 40s now, and they got money now, and you looking around and it's like it ain't worth wiping them up now, man. You know, you don't work for all of that to give, you know, pledge half of your assets to a woman that's wishy-washy. She's traumatized and got all kind of, you know, things floating around. You know, most women nowadays, you marry a woman in her 30s, the only thing she's gonna come with is baggage, trauma, and student loan debt. Okay, credit card debt. You know, entitlements. So men are basically revolting. They're stopping approaching. They're stopping taking you seriously, even on dates. And I can't wait to where there's just no more dates, period. You know, you shouldn't be dating a woman at all. A date is for a woman that is chaste. Now, you do what you got to do if you think you can secure it, you know, or the woman, you've already had sex with the woman, then you can take her out somewhere. But if it's a place that you like, that's what I do, you know. I go to some place that I like going. I'm not taking you out nowhere. You can come with me, okay? You ain't dictating where we're going or doing none of that. If I like you enough, you can go where I want to go, all right? Ain't no talking about I don't like the cheesecake or whatever, you know. You can get the fuck on with that, man, because you ain't really offering nothing but what's between your legs anyway. So, you know, if I were you, I would sit your ass down somewhere, because it's about to get really, really, really bad out here, and people don't see it coming, but the men of the Lord are telling you, okay? We've been telling you to repent the whole time, but, you know, like the scriptures say, they don't consider their latter end, all right? They think that they're gonna go on forever, all right? And now they're getting a wake-up call, and even right now, they are thinking this is just a blip in the road, or men are gonna get over it, or things are gonna get back normal. It's not. You don't understand it, you know? So, call hello Yahawashi Yahawashi for doing another mighty work in Babylon the Great and in the West in general. All right, because the UK is feeling it. These other countries are feeling it as well too. Anything with Western influence under the Edomite Empire, all right, they're all feeling the same thing, because it's the same rancid, wicked, putrid head. Okay, running everything, stinking everything up. You know. So I'll end it there, man. You know, Lord willing, this is edifying. Call hello Yahawah Bashim Yahawashi. BAHASHAM Shalom. Kwam Yasharallah. On to the next.